take a quick tour of 3P Mercury's profit calculator. So with this program, you also have a complete integrated system that includes a profit calculator, something that you definitely need to sell on Amazon. Well, let's take a quick look at this profit calculator. So if you look at it, it's very similar to other profit calculators on the market. It gives you all of the data points that you need to analyze your lead. So we're looking at this lead here for an example. So if I can buy this product, let's say at $1.99, okay, it tells me all of my profit. All right, nothing dramatically different here than any other profit calculator, but I want you to notice this little dot. What this dot allows me to do is, unlike the other methods of other profit calculators, the other calculators expect you to read all of this data, right? They want you to read how many drops there are, how many offer counts, what the FBA buy boxes look like, and from there you can make a decision whether or not this product is worth your time. Well, with 3P Mercury, the difference is we try to automate all of this as much as possible. And what we did was we came up with this quick decision button that instantly tells you in a color code whether or not it passed or failed in terms of your criteria. So I programmed into my profit calculator a certain amount of drops that I want to see. So here I put in a minimum of 30 drops. Well, I can see with that red indicator that it only has 18 drops per month, and it did not meet my criteria, but it passed every other criteria. It passed my ROI criteria of 30%. This is nearly 97% in ROI. The break even in the last 90 days is above what my normal break-even price is for the last 90 days. So essentially, if you ever heard of the three-step check that is taught so much in this community, this tool does the three-step check for you, right? The first three criteria there is the three-step check. So it does it for you. So you don't have to do it yourself. Now, here's the other bigger problem, and this is something that we solved from the very beginning with 3P Mercury, is that once you find a good lead, most other Chrome extensions, what they do is they expect you to save that to a spreadsheet. Well, the problem with a spreadsheet is you end up with a list like this, right? You end up with a list that's just month after month, making a bunch of tabs, and you end up with a sheet like this. Well, the problem is once you save something to a spreadsheet, this no longer becomes it no longer becomes data that changes over time, right? So as we know with Amazon, it's very dynamic. Just because you saved a lead that was good at one point doesn't mean it stays good forever, right? Prices always go up and down. Your competition goes up and down. Like for instance, this one, if you see the competition back here, it was pretty good, right? So like when it was very low in seller count, the buy box was higher. Some people were even selling it for nearly $12. But then guess what happens when the seller count goes up? The buy box goes down. Now it's back down to like the $7-ish range, right? Well, the problem is if you save your leads to a spreadsheet like this, then that is a frozen period in time. You're gonna have to go back and manually check every single one of these ASINs one by one, and tabs upon tabs. You will end up over time having tens of thousands of leads that you will never check again because it just takes way too much time, right? But the difference here with 3P Mercury is we don't save things to a spreadsheet. What we do is we save our items to our lead database, and what that looks like is once you save it, you can save any of your leads. Like, so let's say this is a retail arbitrage lead, and I can save it to Trader Joe, like so, and I just hit enter, right? And what happens is now this lead is saved into my lead database, and it's always here for me. And the beautiful part is 3P Mercury will go in and refresh this data for me. So instead of me having to click on each one of these ASINs to get the latest data, wait for the Amazon page to load up, and then go in and look at keep a graph and look at what the statistics looks like. Well, 3P Mercury will do that for me, right? So it will go in and update this data, grab me the latest seller count. It shows me that the seller count is actually going up. The buy box is still maintaining, but it's actually gone down since the last 90 days, which is, of course, is makes sense. If the seller count is going up, the buy box is going to go down, right? So that is the beautiful part of having a lead database system to do this for me. So what I can then do is I can go in and run a couple of quick filters and just go in and just say, show me where all the buy box now, all my leads, scrub through it, find all of my leads where the buy box now is less than the last 30 days. And if I just hit apply, I find leads like this, where the last 90 days had 20 sellers, and then now there's only 5 sellers left. So what's going to happen? Naturally, the buy box is going to go up, right? But how do you identify these leads manually? It will be impossible for you to go in here and click every single one of these. I mean, you would have to hire so many people to go in and click and click and click just to see. After a while, you're going to get tired and stop doing it, right? But with this, it just does it for me in a matter of seconds, and it finds me leads like this, where then I could make, nearly $5 in profit. And it shows me this because I can now identify trends like this, right? This is such a typical sales cycle, right? Look at this, up and down, up and down. This is such a repeatable cycle that happens all the time on Amazon. The problem is you are not able to identify it, right? But with 3P Mercury, it's so easy. You can just click a few filters and find opportunities like this all day, every day. And guess what happens when the seller count goes down? The buy box shoots up dramatically. If you were to buy during this period of time, people are listing it for $40 when at the peak of the seller count right here, it was selling for $16-ish. Okay, so it has gone over double what it used to be, right? So catching these trends is critical in your ability to be able to run a profitable Amazon business. And doing that with 3P Mercury is super easy. There's nothing like this on the market, and love for you to give it a try.